All right, ladies and gentlemen, race 2 from Daytona. Bob Curtis and Greg Boydell on the front row. Pops Kramer and Pat Boyce on the second row. John Tobias and Tim Chapman on the third row. Terry Landis and Mayor Bixler have the fourth row. Bill Calder and John Rayner round out the field. They've been, Willie, they've been running early morning the last couple of weeks, and it's made a bit of a difference. It definitely makes the dirt track race a lot better, keeps the dirt there a little bit longer, but also makes the, when they go to tracks like this, they go faster and they have more grip. Everybody heading out on track. And like I said, it's about 7:45 in the morning at Daytona. Greg Boydell out front. But as we saw a couple of weeks ago when the Indy cars took to Talladega, anything can happen. The upside of being at Daytona, it's a heck of a lot smoother. The downside of being at Daytona, it's not as wide because you know these guys are going to go 3, 4, and maybe even 5 wide. Especially in the waning laps. Here we come, out of turn 4, the pace car about to dive to pit road. Pace car is in, everybody stacked up, ready to go into the zone. Green flag is in the air, they are back underway. It is going to take a minute for these cars to get up to full speed, but unlike the stock cars, it doesn't take a lap and a half. No restrictor plates. Oh, we've got somebody scraping the wall. That was Boydell up, I believe. Boydell up on the high side, kissing that outside wall, but it seems to have worked. He's sitting side by side with the leader. Like I said, these guys are doing in excess of 230 miles an hour down the backstretch. If anything goes wrong, it goes wrong and you have no time to react, especially when you're in a pack like this. Oh, we've got one up in the wall. We've got a spin. Caution is out already. Looks like John Tobias and Terry Landis involved. Pat Boyce, Tim Chapman, and John Rayner also caught a piece of it. Looking down from the blimp at the first incident of the night. Oh, a little bump from behind and ouch. I think they forgot they're not in stock cars. You can't bump draft these Indy cars. Pat Boyce did end up on pit road. Also worth noting, before the caution flew, Bob Curtis did set the fastest lap so far, 39.12. An extremely fast lap when you consider NASCAR Cup cars do 50 seconds or more around Daytona. Fortunately, the drivers have damage turned off, so Pat Boyce did have to tow in. I think he ended up upside down. And Terry Landis coming in to top off on fuel and tires. Well, that does happen from time to time. Pace car leads them out. It is definitely a very wild thing driving these cars at this track. At first you feel like the car is completely planted due to all the downforce, but one wrong move can send the car flying around. These things are definitely a handful here. Terry Landis is back out on track. Pat Boyce still on pit road, as they should be getting one to green this time. Lights go out on the pace car. They stack back up for the restart. Don't forget, folks, this is only race 2. We'll have Xfinity from Homestead after this. We've had quite a few Xfinity races at Homestead here lately, and they have been amazing. Looking forward to tonight. Don't forget, tomorrow night at 9 Eastern, C12 Retro Trucks are back as well. Thursday night, 7:30 Eastern, Home Motorsports is back, followed by the Convoy, led by the Unicorn. Likely to be a special one because I do believe Missouri releases on Thursday, so there may even be an extra convoy. At minimum, the convoy will be extra fun, I can tell you that. All right, here we go. Out of turn 4. Pace car dives to pit road. Bob Curtis, Greg Boydell on the front row. Green flag back in the air. Bill Calder is on the move, now up into fifth. Oh, a lot of bobbling through 1 and 2 this time. As they come up to speed. Pat Boyce is back out on track, a couple laps down, but he is still in the fight. Bob Curtis lost some ground early, but is in a really good spot to ride along with Bob Curtis back and forth. Down into 1 and 2, and you see how much these cars move around despite all the downforce, and you see how big of a run he gets out of turn 2. Makes a move up to the high side as they head into turn 3. Drops back down to the bottom. Can he squeeze in? Can't quite get to second yet, but he's still right there on the bumper of the top 2 as John Rayner starts blinking. Oh, big wreck out of turn 2. Caution is out. Pops Kramer involved. Looks like Pops may have been the only one. See if we can see what happened with Pops. He's mid-pack. Oh, he got the apron, just barely misses. Everybody just barely skates by. Wow. He had one heck of a ride. Hey, thanks, Wooly. I kind of forgot. And thanks for the sub. Greg Boydell, John Rayner still on the front row. Bob Curtis and Mayor Bixler on the second row. John Tobias, Bill Calder have the third row. Terry Landis, Tim Chapman on the fourth. Hobbs Kramer and Pat Boyce round out the top 10. Boyce has been waved around. He is back on the lead lap. As it looks like Chapman and Kramer are coming to pit road. Yeah, Wooly, last year I said I'd make a point of making a note of it, but you see how good I am at remembering stuff. Should be coming to 1 to green this time. Through 3 and 4, the pace car will give the one to, or the Barney the flagman will give the one to green this time. Might be worth paying attention to the pace car, though, when we go to Homestead, because last time we were there, we happened to notice the pace car driver driving through pit wall to get off the track. That was a bit weird. Lights are out. Everybody is stacking back up. Wooly, that is definitely true. Greg Boydell, rather, out front in control. And what do you say we try and get a little bit loud here? When we hit the restart, I'm going to stop talking. You guys crank it up. We'll see just how loud these little DW12s will go. Here we go, through 3 and 4. Pace car leads him down. He's about to dive in. There he goes. Pace car is in. Here we go. Green flag is back in the air. Crank it up, y'all. Looks like we had a little situation coming out of turn 2 toward the back of the field. Tim Chapman, Pops Kramer, and Pat Boy still there together. Everybody still on track, still on the lead lap. Mayor Bixler just set the fastest lap so far, back in third. Or in fourth, rather. And that lead group of 4 cars now pulling away. They have a 1.7 second lead. I've gone single file for the moment, which will allow them to get away a little quicker. Bixler has a big run up top. Just wasn't enough. He had a ton of momentum When he came out of turn 2, or as he went into turn 1, he jumped out of the draft, slingshotted up to the high side. The gap now back to that second group is about 2 seconds. John Tobias, Terry Landis, and Bill Calder all right there. Pops Kramer, Pat Boyce, and Tim Chapman about 1 second behind. If these two groups can get together and work together, they can make it back up to the lead pack. But right now, that lead pack, 4 cars deep, single file, and doing everything right. Greg Boydell continuing to lead here at Daytona. Pops Kramer has his 3-car group now single file. They lost a little bit of time on that second group, but they are starting to close in. Pops about 1.1 seconds back, now 1.2. He was gaining ground, but man. And Terry Landis trying to make something happen. Goes to the high side into turn 1. Oh, he kisses the wall. Spins off track. That was Bill Calder that went around. No caution. He cleared the racing surface. Oh! Problems coming to pit road. Bob Curtis had a problem. Let's take a quick look at some of these recent incidents. There's Calder going to the high side through 1. Had a bit of a run up top. Just pushes up and whoa. Hope he's not in VR. If he is very sick right now. And we saw a couple of drivers head toward pit road, and it looked like they just got on the brakes a little too late. Curtis goes wide through the grass, but does get it onto pit road. John Rayner now on pit road as well. Terry Landis has scored as a leader. Tim Chapman in second. 20 laps to go. Wooly, you're absolutely right. Hope he had the bucket handy. Tim Chapman is closing in on the leader. He's got Pops Kramer with him. Greg Boydell now in 4th, has no help at the moment. Mayor Bixler about 6 seconds back as the field has gotten strung out a bit due to pit stops. John Tobias in 6th, about 3 seconds back from Bixler. Pat Boyce 2.8 seconds back in 7th. John Rayner lost a lot of time on pit road. He is now 27.5 seconds back in 8th. Calder in 9th is starting to pull back up. And Curtis in 10th, way behind, but catching up as here comes Landis to pit road. No problem for Terry this time. Hands the lead over to Tim Chapman. Tim and Pops working together. This might be these two working together, the only two that came off pit road together. And they may come into a situation where they get so far ahead, they're untouchable right now. Greg Boydell in third is 29.6 seconds behind. Terry Landis coming off pit road in fourth. Bixler gaining on him in fifth. John Tobias currently in sixth. Pat Boyce in seventh. John Rayner in eighth after losing a lot of time on pit road. Calder back in ninth. Bob Curtis in 10th. And currently only 5 drivers on the lead lap. Greg Boydell in third, 29.2 seconds behind the leaders. Despite the fact that he is alone, he is starting to gain some ground. Landis in fourth, Bixler in fifth, is closing in on Landis. If they can get hooked up, they might stand a chance. John Tobias in sixth. Pat Boyce in seventh. Those two could also hook up. The rest of the field likely too far back. Here comes Chapman for his pit stop. Pops is coming with him. They had both made a pit stop on one of the earlier cautions. Wasn't sure if they would have enough fuel to make the distance. Apparently not. The question is, how quickly can they get back out? Can they maintain the lead? Here comes Boydell on the front stretch. Pops is on his way out, but Boydell is taking the lead. Pops and Chapman now separated by a couple of seconds. This definitely just changed up the top of the field. Greg Boydell now has a 6.5 second lead on Terry Landis. Pops currently in third. Whoa! Bill Calder trying to get himself back to the lead lap, currently in ninth. And Greg Boydell's lead continuing to grow now, 6.8 seconds. Pops Kramer with help from Bill Calder is closing in. And Bixler has caught him. Now the question is, will they have the time to catch up to second place Terry Landis or the leader? Bixler might be able to. He just set the fastest lap, 38.32. Bixler is definitely turning some fast laps here tonight. This group back behind, trying to close the gap on Landis. They're about 2.1 seconds back at the moment, but they are gaining a little bit of ground. They still have a shot at second place. Terry Landis, but Landis now 7.5 seconds behind Boydell. Ten laps to go at Daytona. And Landis is on pit road. I don't know why he is suddenly coming in. Unless he just didn't get enough fuel on his last stop, but Landis' hope at catching the leader has just gone out the window. That does put Bixler now in second, but he is 10.6 seconds back. Pops right on his bumper in third, and they still have the lap car. Bill Calder with them. John Tobias is back in. Pat Boyce also back in. Big Gene, that's a really good question. I have never thought about it, but I'd have to look into if I could do it. Sure, there's a way. It'd be even funnier as if we ended up with that "we're gonna lose" guy in your session. Boydell's lead continuing to grow, now 11 seconds over Bixler and Kramer. Looks like these three are trying to leapfrog using the slingshot to benefit all three of them. Boydell is back on pit road. Now the question is, who else needs to stop for fuel with these second stops underway? These were definitely unexpected stops. And this is definitely going to shake up the field yet again. Mayor Bixler is in. Pop stays out. Chapman also staying out. These two pitted just a little bit ago, so we'll have to see. Can they make it to the end? John Rayner, Bill Calder, Bob Curtis, all on pit road. Kramer at the moment has a 2.25 second lead over Chapman. I think they can do a little bit better than me. I just a hunch. But, you know, if that hashtag gets trending, I wouldn't complain. Greg Boydell back in third, 17 seconds back, so it's likely going to come down to Pops, Kramer, and Tim Chapman. It looks like Pops may have a little bit of help, as Bixler now a lap down right behind him. Here we go. 3 to go for Pops Kramer. Can he get it done? Hey, Chrono, thank you for the raid, buddy. Good evening, Lowen. Terry Landis currently has the fastest lap, 38.28. Pops' lead starting to grow again, 2.06 seconds. Chapman was gaining some ground, but he has lost that momentum. As here they come. White flag flies for Pops Kramer. Pops Moore won the dirt race at Eldora earlier. Now another Pops looking to go to victory lane. He's got a 2.1 second lead and growing. And here they come out of turn 4. Pops Kramer will get the win at Daytona. Tim Chapman coming home in second. Greg Boydell, who led a lot of the early race, comes home in third. Man, what an eventful race. And a lot of excitement, folks. Don't forget, still one more race to go as we take the stock cars to Homestead tonight. And we'll get a word with our top 3 here in just a second. Looks like we'll be starting tonight with our winner, Pops Kramer. Pops, congratulations. That was a heck of a win tonight.
Yeah, thank you, buddy. That was a little rough for me in the start. Kept getting down on the yellow line, wrecked everybody out. But after it got going, after a while, straightened it out. So it was a good run.
It was obvious whenever anybody touched that yellow line, and you were not the only one, things got a little bit chaotic. These cars did not like having a big difference in the angle that the tires are on.
Yeah, you got to stay off that line. You know, the bottom's a fast way, but you get down on that yellow line just a little bit, and then you just about lose everything. So I did it a couple times, saved it. A couple times didn't, so just want to apologize for anybody that I messed up.
Well, man, still an awesome night and a great win. Anybody you'd like to thank tonight?
Yeah, definitely want to thank Masked Avenger Racing for putting this on, and then all the admins for doing this. I know they put a lot into it, and all the Salty Dogs just for all their support and the good time we have. And so good racing. Just enjoy running with them.
Great job tonight.
Thank you for what you do too, sir.
Tim Chapman, excuse me, comes home in second. Tim, It looked like you might have had the momentum to run him down there for a few moments, but then at last 3 or 4 laps, he just started pulling away again.
Yeah, we were on the same strategy there as far as pits went, and he beat me in the pits. That's where I lost tonight. Kudos to him. He did a great job.
It was, you guys were nose to tail prior to that final pit stop, and that it really bit you, and you definitely had one heck of an effort trying to run him back down.
Thanks. All in all, the second's good. I'll take it.
Well, definitely a great night tonight. Congratulations. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Well, thank you for putting this on, and of course, Mask Avenger Racing and Mauer Farm Equipment, and just everybody at the league, all the administrators, everybody that puts this on. It's great. Thanks a lot.
Well, great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And finally, our third place finisher, Greg Boydell. Greg, early on, I didn't know if you were going to survive the night. It was a bit bumpy early, but man, a comeback to finish on the podium. You got to be pretty happy about that.
Yeah, it was a good night. I was just saying to Mike there. I think that's the probably the best race we've ever run as far as cautions.
Oh, it definitely was a lot of green flag racing, which shook things up as far as pit strategy went tonight. And pit strategy bit a few people, and it helped a few others.
Yeah, it definitely bit me. I was expecting a couple more cautions, and yeah, it threw my strategy all off right from early on.
You still managed to make it up, come home in third. A great run tonight. Anybody you'd like to thank?
Oh, we want to thank you, of course, and the Masked Avenger, and the people at Oshweek Speedway, which will be going in about a month, less than a month from now. So, yeah, that's about it.
Well, great job. Congratulations, and hope we see you at Homestead in a few minutes.
Yep. And thanks again for helping us out, Doug. Much appreciated, sir.
My pleasure, buddy. Great job.
Yep.
All right, folks, don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a few moments from Homestead. Fortunately, it's a very short drive from Daytona, Florida to Homestead, Miami, Florida. Otherwise, man, I'd have to drive really fast. So stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a moment.